Hi, it's me. Let's have a real casual talk about prop firms going into 2026, like upcoming changes I'm worried about, not really, my top picks, and much more. Join the free prop firm Discord for dedicated channels on various firms, tons of free giveaways, verified funded and paid out roles, constantly updated sales at the best firms, and more. The current state of firms seems fairly balanced. The big futures exchanges wanted a cut of the pie on commissions and professional market data rates, and now firms have a very clearly defined path to a live account. That was the major shift in 2025. No more unlimited sim trading, which is more sustainable for the firms and also makes the exchanges happy, because all they care about is money. Now let's talk about a bunch of firms. At the moment, my funded futures is number one for having the combined easiest and cheapest overall process from the evaluation to the payout policy. That's just true looking at the metrics. And here are just the evaluation rules. The biggest reason to trade at a different firm is to get a higher profit split of 90% rather than 80%. And I'll show those firms in a sec, because I'm trading through them as well. However, check out the full guide on Mafu or the pinned comment possibly around February for some positive changes. Hint, hint, hint. I'm hinting at something. That is a hint. Here are the payout rules. Core is the easiest and cheapest, only requiring 5 days of making at least $100 to get your payout. No buffer, no consistency rule. You cannot beat that. The other accounts are more expensive because they have far higher maximum earning potential before you are given a free live account to continue trading. However, while Mafu is the easiest as well as being rated the highest out of all the top firms, a 10% difference on a profit split means that a $1,000 payout request gives you $800 rather than $900. It's not a complete deal breaker, and I have multiple funded accounts at Mafu all ready for payouts as I write this, but it does mean that I've also started trading at other firms. So if you're consistently getting payouts, that's when the split becomes important, which it is to me now. But as a beginner, and for most traders, a 10% difference is not a big deal. Focus on the more important rules, and Mafu can't be beat at the moment. And again, keep an eye out for possible changes. My site on them is always updated. Code IMAN for the highest discount. It updates to every active sale. If the discount says 0%, there's no sale. But still using the code is greatly appreciated. The whole profit split debacle is something I'll be keeping an eye on for 2026. I'm personally getting some accounts at Lucid Trading, a newer firm that has had zero problems and only improvements since their launch. Why am I choosing them? 90% profit split on a super cheap account with great rules. That price with code IMAN goes down a lot, making their pricing competitive with my funded futures. However, when you trade with a newer firm like Lucid who hasn't been around for several years, then you accept higher risk. Only trade with established names if that's important to you. You want to guess how much insight I have into the actual financial health of literally any of the firms in this entire industry? If you guessed 0, you're correct. So when I buy an account at a new firm, there's nobody to blame but myself if they go down. So far, so good though. No payout denials or any issues, so that's good enough for me. I have a super quick guide on which account you should pick based on their differences on imantrading.org in the prop firm review section, linked in the pinned comment. Perdea Capital is still going strong after many years with their instant funding model that puts you in a live account when you pass. Every other sim-funded instant funding model is a joke compared to Perdea and full of insanely difficult rules. Look at this 100K account. You have $3,000 of drawdown with an end-of-day system, and you need to hit a $3,000 profit target. Have 5 days where you make at least $200, and that's it. That is it. You can just flip a contract for the other 5 trading days to meet the 10-day requirement. Then, that $3,000 profit target you hit becomes the starting balance on a live account, and you can immediately withdraw as much as you'd like before continuing trading. No rules from there on. Do whatever you want. Withdraw as much as you'd like. That is laughably better than every single competitor who has to invent rules to make payouts difficult because they keep you in sim funded. It is in Perdea's best interest for you to do well because they make money when you do. I've said for a couple years now that I expected rules to get harder, yet nothing has changed. No payout denials, no big issues. It seems like they've experienced some growth that occasionally results in some users having significant delays in account setup times, but most people have a very good and relatively fast experience. This is the easiest and best instant funding model in the industry, and you can learn more on the guide at imantrading.org. Instant funding is not for everyone, especially not beginners, so be smart. And yes, 90% profit split. Before using code IMAN for a big discount, check my Discord sales channel to see if anything special is there. Take Profit Trader, or TPT, is another good choice, but I really dislike that the trailing drawdown switches from end of day to intraday once you reach the pro account after the evaluation. But they do offer daily payouts once there, for the most part, as long as everything goes smoothly. Once you get to the live account, it's a 90% profit split. They've been improving for quite some time and are now one of the best firms out there, so it's up to you on how much that one downside about the trailing drawdown system matters. And maybe that'll go away entirely this year. Who knows? Probably not. Firms are pretty balanced, so it'd be surprising to see some radical changes, but you never know. Check the pinned comment below for important updates that I'll add as time goes on. I'll make a little section for each firm. Code IMAN gets you the best discount no matter what, including no activation fee if that's what is running. Same goes for Trade Day, who has had quite the interesting history since I first started working and trading with them in 2023. They went from being the undisputed easiest and cheapest combined path to funding and payouts to being far more difficult and expensive, and now they've improved all the way back to being a really great option once again. It seems like they're now at a very solid, sustainable, and comfortable spot, but we'll see. Similar to Take Profit Trader, they've been running no activation fee deals for quite some time, with a discount off the evaluation on top of that. Code IMAN. You can work your way up to a higher profit split, but it starts at 80%. That sounds great, but brother, I would have to multiply my total lifetime earnings from prop firms by 1.5 just to unlock that 90% profit split. That is not happening for me. Either way, Trade Day is great, well established, and better than or equal to Take Profit Trader in price depending on the discounts. Alpha is not the easiest or cheapest, but their reputation on the futures side is excellent. One of their plans scales up to a 90% profit split, while the other two are always a 90% split. And maybe we'll start to see this varied profit split model at other firms as well. In fact, I almost guarantee it. They are extremely positively reviewed, and I haven't personally heard of any problems. The payout policies are objectively more difficult than some of the other firms here, but they are currently a great option with a fairly dedicated trader base. People on my server speak highly of them. Keeping in mind that I know nothing more than you do, except for maybe a couple hints, here are my quick thoughts on the firms that I'm looking at, because I actually trade. That's why the firms are here that are here, because I trade. You may have noticed a few firms missing. There's a reason. Perdea is number 1 for instant funding. My funded futures is the easiest, safest, and most reliable, but sadly with an 80% profit split. Lucid is who I'm getting new accounts at, but is technically riskier. And Trade Day, Alpha Futures, and Take Profit Trader look solid as alternative options. And remember, prop firms are food, not friends, so eat up and remember that brand loyalty is dumb. You look dumb. Don't do that. Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's talking behind your back. This space changes very quickly. More firms at the top is good because that forces them to be more competitive, and we are the ones who benefit from that. Learn for free at imantrading.org and do not use prop firms until you're ready. Take care and see you soon.